So yeah, a disaster. An absolute disaster. But like, Sid Colson's probably not going to play ball again till 2027. And she might be done. Like, Sid Colson might not play basketball.
The Indiana Fever arrived in Phoenix on Thursday night with championship hopes burning bright, only to watch those hopes unravel at the hands of a relentless injury bug. It's been feasting on their roster like an all-you-can-eat buffet. And Thursday's main course? Both of the team's point guards, sidelined in a single game. Yes, you heard that right. 2 point guards, one night, both lost for the season. Dreams dashed in an instant.
Aari McDonald is hurt as well, folks. You could not have scripted a more worse season than what we have endured so far. Fever lose Sydney Colson and Aari McDonald for the rest of the season. Our backup point guard's hurt, and now our backup's backup is hurt.
Sydney Colson, the 36-year-old veteran expected to be the steady hand steering the ship in Caitlin Clark's absence, went down in the first quarter with a torn ACL, a devastating blow that could keep her off the court for more than a year.
Colson, like, it did not look like an ACL tear. It did not look like an ACL tear when it happened. I was convinced. I was like, it's either a meniscus or it's a MCL. I was like, okay, we knew when she went down, she was done for the year. And I was like, okay, if it's something like an MCL, she's back for AU. She can make her money in the off.
Meanwhile, Aari McDonald, the former Arizona standout and the Fever's unlikely breakout star this season, suffered a broken bone in her right foot during the fourth quarter. Just like that, Indiana's point guard depth chart was wiped clean, replaced by a blank sheet of paper with "help wanted" scrawled across it in bold red ink.
Lost 2 very, very competent players, including the starting point guard that was filling in for the other starting point guard. This is a disaster. This is a disaster. And what this does for a potential playoff push, I don't know. Because, you know, I've seen people say, well, sign a guard or whatever. Well, there's salary cap implications out there too right now. I even saw somebody say we might have to waive Chloe Bibby to sign a point.
If you're enjoying the coverage, don't forget to subscribe. Now, let's dive into what these injuries truly mean for the Fever. Sydney Colson, though in the twilight of her career, had been a dependable presence off the bench, averaging 2.4 points and 2.0 assists per game, while offering invaluable veteran leadership and stability at the guard position.
Colson tore her ACL. Folks, you saw her land on her left leg. It didn't look pretty. It didn't. Her left leg completely gave out on her. It exploded under.
But Aari McDonald, she was the story no one saw coming. Picked up on a hardship contract earlier this season after being waived by the Sparks, McDonald quickly proved she belonged. In just 20 appearances, she averaged 9.8 points and 4.7 assists per game, emerging as a true contributor. She wasn't just logging minutes, she was making an impact, lighting up the stat sheet, including a standout 27-point performance against Phoenix just days prior.
And with a crazy roll, right? Learning plays on the airplane, landing and playing her first game without turning the ball over at all. Not turning the ball over at all, y'all. Just came in and was a huge X factor for this Indiana Fever team. Caitlin Clark didn't even get a chance to play like that with Aari McDonald, man. I'm sick.
And here's the kicker. Indiana's injury nightmare doesn't end there. Caitlin Clark, the franchise's crown jewel, has been out since July 15th with a lingering groin injury, missing what has now stretched to 10 consecutive games. That's 18 out of the team's 31 contests this season. The player meant to lead the Fever to championship glory has spent more time in street clothes than in uniform, forced to watch from the sidelines as her teammates scramble to keep their playoff hopes alive. Now, the Indiana Fever, a team that entered the season with genuine title aspirations, heads into Saturday's matchup against the Chicago Sky with exactly 0 healthy point guards. Just 9 available players. That's the entire active roster for a team once expected to be a serious contender.
Cannot sign a hardship contract until after tomorrow's game, which means tomorrow they have to play with 9 players. Now, it helps that the Chicago Sky also have injuries. So this game's going to be a little bit weird, but after tomorrow, they can sign a hardship contract because now that Aari McDonald and Sydney Colson are both out with injuries, we don't know the timeline of Caitlin's return. So, of course, the discussion...
Due to WNBA roster rules, the Fever can't even sign a hardship replacement until after the Sky game, meaning they'll be forced to field a lineup that might make a high school coach weep. The cruel irony? This was supposed to be the season everything finally came together. After an aggressive off-season that brought in proven veterans like Dawanna Borner, Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, and yes, Sydney Colson, Indiana looked like a team built to contend. They brought back head coach Stephanie White for a second stint, retained all-star guard Kelsey Mitchell, and surrounded Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston with the kind of playoff-tested experience designed to chase banners. My expectation is for us to try to win a championship. Clark had boldly declared before the season began.
To be the one to tell you, look like the Indiana Fever could be signing another player, basically another hardship player could be on the way. Sydney Colson hurt, Aari McDonald hurt. Now we got to see who's available again at the point guard position. Again, we got to go through this again, y'all. This looked very familiar to the month of June. I believe was it June when Caitlin, Sid, who else was hurt? Sophie was hurt. This looked like June.
The numbers paint a grim picture. At 17-14, the Fever currently sit 5th in the WNBA standings, close enough to smell the playoffs, but far from the safety of home court advantage. Just 2 games separate them from the 8th-seeded Los Angeles Sparks and the looming threat of missing the postseason entirely. With 13 games left and their entire backcourt collapsing like a house of cards, every matchup becomes a must-win. Powered by players who were never meant to carry this kind of weight, Caitlin Clark's public response to the unfolding crisis? A simple yet poignant Instagram story. The team's injury update, captioned with 3 words and 2 heart emojis. Love you guys. It's the kind of message you post when words can't quite capture the magnitude of what's unraveling. Behind that composed social media front is the frustration of a fierce competitor, one who, until now, had never faced a serious injury. Clark went 4 years at Iowa and the majority of her rookie WNBA season without missing a single game. This is uncharted territory.
With the 2 of them out, if you guys don't know, they're able to get someone on a hardship, but if they want to replace 2 for 2, they have to cut one of them or cup return. It is not possible for the Indiana Fever to go out with more than 10 players the rest of the year. They have 2 rest of season injuries on guaranteed contracts. They can't go out with more than 10 players the rest of the year. And the problem is the coach doesn't like playing 3 other players. The coach doesn't like playing KK, the coach doesn't like playing Chloe Bibby, and the coach doesn't like playing...
On Sue Bird's podcast earlier this week, Caitlin Clark spoke candidly about the emotional toll this injury-riddled season has taken. It's been really hard to be active, play 4 games, and then be out again, she admitted. I'm not feeling my best, and it's frustrating considering how hard I worked in the off-season, only to spend my time in rehab. The woman who was supposed to be orchestrating fast breaks and threading highlight reel passes has instead been sidelined, forced into the role of supportive bystander, a cheerleader for a team watching its championship window crack, if not slam shut. Though reports say Clark has started running at full speed, she has yet to return to full basketball activity. With a series of soft tissue injuries, first a left quad, then a left groin, now a right groin, the medical staff is understandably cautious. You don't rush your franchise cornerstone back when the risks are this high, but here's the brutal truth. Even if Clark came back tomorrow, what exactly would she be returning to? Kelsey Mitchell, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexi Hull are now tasked with playmaking responsibilities they never trained for. Mitchell, a natural off-ball scorer, is being asked to run the offense. Hull and Cunningham, longtime role players, are expected to facilitate at a level far beyond their comfort zone. It's like asking your accountant to perform surgery. They may mean well, they may give it their all, but the skill set simply isn't there.
And playing 4 games and then not, and not feeling the best, and then frustrated of how hard I worked in the off season, and then all I do is rehab and continue to do this process, and just trying to trust that the best I can. And obviously there's really frustrating days, and there's days where it's a little bit easier, and you're very, very motivated, and you're close to the finish line of getting back and being back, and then it's not like I have a training camp to like build up to like playing my first game again. It's like, no, like you're tossed into game 30. Like, go try to play well. Like, it's hard.
The Fever's championship dreams, once so tangible just months ago, now hang by the thinnest of threads. What began as a sleeper pick to win it all has morphed into a team fighting just to survive the regular season intact. The ruthless math of professional sports doesn't care about potential or what might have been. It only recognizes wins and losses, health and injury, presence and absence. Consider this. Indiana's record with Caitlin Clark on the court this season is a commanding 8-5. Without her, they've gone 9-7. Those numbers suggest more depth than many expected. But that was before the devastating simultaneous losses of McDonald and Colson. Now, the team is exploring options. Veterans like Odyssey Sims, who averaged 8.7 points and 3.5 assists for the Sparks before being released. Jalen Sheridan, recently cut by New York. And Grace Berger, a former Indiana University standout currently on a 7-day hardship contract with Dallas. But these aren't plug-and-play solutions. They are band-aids on a wound that demands surgery.